Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. I'm Protomario. Let me apologize for my voice again. I'm still recovering from my sickness, so my speech and the sound of my voice isn't the greatest. But let's jump into it. Look, I need to preface this. I have seen similar designs to what we're talking about today. I've seen talks about it. I've seen Kickstarters with these designs. Something isn't right about this stuff. Something is really off about it. So, having said that, I don't have a personal hate. I don't personally dislike this stuff for no reason. There is something up with this. So Coleco announces a new cartridge-based console. With a partnership in retro video game systems, Coleco has announced its new cartridge-based console called the Coleco Chameleon. Now I have to say, really great name. 10 out of 10. You guys knocked it out of the park. When you look at the console, it's all black and you see the Coleco Chameleon is stamped right above the controller inputs. Really great, man. It's rainbow colored, beautifully designed. Whoever designed the console, you knew what you were doing. 10 out of 10. Unfortunately, it is designed based around the Atari Jaguar. Yep, it has almost the same exact molding. A while ago, I saw the Gamester 81 promoting something like this, and I'm very curious if it is exactly the same thing or not. Now, no offense to the Gamester 81. Again, I don't hold any personal animosity towards him. I think he's a great YouTuber, but something doesn't smell right about this. It smells like nothing because it's the internet. But something isn't right about this. First off, to save money, they were harvesting the old Atari Jaguar molds that they had to pay quite a bit of money for to acquire to make these console variations. Now, while the Atari Jaguar was legendarily shitty, I have to say that the design doesn't look good. I do not like the way the console looks. Give me just a simple box. It doesn't have to be edgy. It doesn't have to be futuristic. The Xbox One, in its big bulkiness, looks just fine. The Xbox 360, again, just a square. Sure, there's a couple ridges here, and I just prefer a square. It's that simple. Just make a square that works. It doesn't have to be rounded off. It doesn't have to be a spaceship design. Perfectly fine. So apparently, this will be a versatile new video game system that serves the modern day take on classic video game console, and it's promised to accurately play classic games. The system will also play 8 to 16 to 32-bit games in the spirit of the golden age of gaming. Mike Kennedy calls it a love letter to the club, blah, 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 blah. Let's actually talk about the console, okay? So with all the promotion and all the hype, I want to talk about the console itself. I'm going to start there. So there's a power button on the top. It looks like the old Atari Jaguar. It even has the giant circle missing from it where you could set the giant toilet one. It has 3 controller ports. Perfectly fine. This is just a simple console. Okay, whatever. Gotcha. Now, the controller looks like a Nintendo Wii U's Super Nintendo specialized controller. It literally looks like that. Like, almost to a T. Take the Wii U's remote, not the Wii U pad, the remote that they sold separately, and slap a Super Nintendo controller inside of it. There was actually a variant sold of that for a while, and you can still find it. It looks really weird. It feels really weird. It's not good. I absolutely hate when companies do this. On top of that, both of the joysticks are on the top right and top left. If this is a retro console, you should definitely have put the retro controls on the top as your primary controls. You should rest your hands on the primary controls, not the secondary. Again, I'm not going to use the right joystick for 8-bit and 16-bit games. Most of them anyways. Maybe for some of the 32-bit games, maybe for games like Final Fantasy VII to adjust the camera, but it's pretty rare even in those. You know, most games didn't start doing that until the 64-bit 3D era. And when you go into the 3D era, that's kind of cutting it close to retro versus modern, because that's usually the line that everyone draws. So 8 to 16-bit, the default control should have been that. But I would have been happy if they designed a regular Xbox, Wii U, whatever controller, and then packaged in a secondary, just regular retro controller. Or put in ports on the console to recognize the Super Nintendo controller, the Sega controller, because it looks just like a Super Nintendo controller. So yeah, not really impressed with that. The controller looks like fucking shit. It looks like a deformed fusion of 8-bit and modern day gaming, which I don't fucking like. And the sticks look like they aren't concaved. Again, they're dome. I don't like that. That's just my personal gripes, and it's unfortunate because if I don't like the controller on the console, I won't play it. That's why I rarely played the PlayStation 3. I didn't like the controller. It fucking sucks. I'm sorry. It just does to me. Again, you can like the controller, you can like the design of it, but that is a huge deterrent determining factor for me personally. Now, here's the other thing that's going to be a serious problem for this. I haven't even started talking about this, and this is the biggest problem. Who the fuck is going to make games for this? Who in their right mind? Are you going to tell me some indie developer is going to go out of his way to program specialized programming for this one-off console that he doesn't even know how many people have? Maybe the numbers will get released. Maybe everyone and their mom will buy this. But if that being said, then what games would convince people to buy this? What one game would convince people to buy this? Tempest 2000 was sold on the old Atari Jaguar, and that is considered to be the absolute best Tempest. There's even a Tempest 3000 that was sold for a specialized DVD console, and that is one of the rarest games you can ever play. But again, those games didn't save those consoles. You know, there aren't. If they don't have enough third-party support, if they don't have enough first-party support, there's going to be no point to buying this. And most games that are 8-bit or 16-bit by today's standards are being developed by indie developers. So, to say the least, you have to ask the question, what is this going to run on? Is this going to run on iOS, Android, PC architecture, Linux architecture? Is it going to be an emulation machine or not? Because I would like to find out how the fuck they're going to convince Nintendo to put their old ROMs on here. Because it's supposed to play classic games, right? And new ones, right? Accurately play classic games. So, how are they going to convince Nintendo, which already have their games ported on the Wii U, and they're already charging pretty high prices for old games on the Wii U, comparatively to being able to pirate them off the internet and play them for free? I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying, which would you choose? Would you play it for free off the internet, or would you pay money to play it on the Wii U? How are they going to convince Nintendo to lose money by putting their ROMs over on this thing? I mean, really, I don't see it happening. On top of that, what classic Xbox games are there? What classic retro Xbox games are there? You know, maybe Sony and PlayStation would be willing to work with them at best. Maybe. And maybe they'll put out some old Sony PlayStation games. You know, maybe Square will put Final Fantasy on it. Maybe, I'm trying to think, Spyro will come on it. Maybe Crash Bandicoot. But if that is the only type of games that are going to be put on it, then it's just a retro PlayStation. It's not, if they can't convince Nintendo to work with them, if they can't convince, well, there is no convincing Microsoft. There was no classic retro Microsoft games, unless you want to fucking count Fable and Halo. But good lord, even being 15 years old, it's still not retro enough. It's not 8-bit or 16-bit. So, I can't see this succeeding. What classic games are going to appear on this? You think Konami's going to put their classic games on this? Konami's gone. They're to the dark side, man. They're gone. They might come back, but good lord, they don't even have the licenses for half the classic games that they had at one point in time, like Turtles in Time. I don't think they have license for that. You know, are you going to put X-Men Arcade on here when X-Men Arcade's available for the 360? Are you going to put, you know, The Simpsons Arcade? What are you going to put on here? What classic games are you going to put on here? So that's my only question. I understand that it's in the spirit of the golden age of gaming. I understand that they wanted to bring out gaming and bring back gaming to a better level and be like, yeah, gaming, awesome, you know, when gaming was good. I'm all for that. I'm down with that. The problem is that not only does the console look unappealing, it just, by design, it looks like Atari Jaguar and it looks like shit. Not only is the controller unappealing to me, because I've used that controller, I don't like that controller at all. It looks like shit. It's hard to use for me personally. But also, they have not announced any third-party support. They have not announced a lot of first-party support in this news article alone, and I can't imagine seeing any third-party or first-party support in the future. So if I'm wrong, please comment in the section below. But if you feel that this is a steaming pile of shit, do not support the Kickstarter, do not support the Indiegogo, and do not invest in it. Because we all remember what happened with the Ouya. How many of you got the custom Ouya with your name etched into it? Raise your hand out there, huh? Where's the Ouya 2? Anyone? No? No Ouya 2? Oh, that's right. Because it fucking failed. And that was supposed to be an open design for the living room, where anyone could design for it. Anybody. Very simple. Support in Android. Great idea. Love it. Did not succeed. For reasons. Even the NVIDIA Shield's having a rough time succeeding. And that's supposed to bridge the console PC gap, but it's just not doing super well. So all these consoles coming out, these consoles, you know, I think the Dreamcast 2 would have a better shot, honestly. And even that, there's so many reasons reasons why that wouldn't succeed. But even that probably would have a better shot than this. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. I'm sorry. I don't like going on these rage rants or these tangents, but I hate when these false flags, these false ideas come out. Fuck it, man. Listen, if Nintendo came out and they said, look, we've teamed up with Sony, and we are going to produce the first ever Retro Station 1, and they brought it out, and it looked like a Super Nintendo PlayStation hybrid. The one that had a prototype, but it really did look like a more updated version of that. And they said, ladies and gentlemen, for a limited run, we are re-releasing a ton of classic Sony PlayStation games and Super Nintendo games. You can download them, or you can buy the cartridges or the discs for the Retro Station 1. And they said that. I would be the first one in line. I would have my hand up. I would say, yes, please. Yes, please. Take my fucking money right now. Take my fucking money right now. HDMI with the Retro Station 1? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Because they're bitter rivals. There's no point in doing that. They wouldn't stand to make as much money as they would just putting it on the currently available platforms. So, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. And as always, good gaming, and God bless.
Thanks for watching my video and making it to the end. And would you please consider subscribing to my channel? By subscribing to my channel, you are not only supporting me, but also joining a community that is against stereotypes, lies, and fraud in gaming. I work my hardest to inform my subscribers of important stories that might affect them. From new games to important updates, the Mavericks are always informed. If you are tired of political correctness ruining your gaming experience, then join my rebellion, because PC isn't for me. And if it isn't for you either, consider yourself a friend of the Mavericks. Subscribe today and you'll be in good hands. Mavericks unite, and together, we can keep gaming from falling prey to the people that would not only censor it, but also destroy it.